Renee Swinier, and I learned about Scott Spencer a little over a year ago from a friend of mine and his barefoot trimming. I have to admit I was very skeptical in the beginning because all my other horses have always had shoes on them. He came out and trimmed, and I could see a noticeable difference after the very first trim. And then he continued to trim, and a year later, it's amazing what he's been able to do with my horse and his feet and how much better my horse rides. He doesn't get lame. He hasn't been lame since Scott's been trimming him, and I would highly recommend him.
My name is Victoria Clark. I'm the owner and instructor here, professional, of Sunnyfield Equestrian Farm in Tabor City, North Carolina. I am so traditional with shoe, shoe, shoe. I've hunted paced, I do a lot of showing in the ring and trail riding as well, and I couldn't fathom going barefoot, and that's the best thing I ever did. Through a friend of mine, I was introduced to Scott Spencer, and she said I had to try him. So I was very skeptical. I couldn't fathom going barefoot. I tried it. I did the back feet, then I did the front feet, and I would never go back to shoeing again. He explains what he's doing. He doesn't just look at the top of the foot. He actually looks at the underneath part of the foot. And once he saw what my mare had, she had contracted heels, she had fungus in the hoof wall. He explained to me how we should treat it. It's going to take a while to get these feet where she should be. My thoroughbred had always a long step, but she would always be cautious when she put her foot down. So now when I ride her, when she trots, it's effortless. She's floating on the ground. She pops me out of the saddle. Sometimes I think I don't even have a saddle because all I'm doing is just rising automatically. It's not even, it's no work at all. She just moves forward and I pop right out, and it's like riding on a cloud.
My name is Jessica Worley, and I'm from Riverview Farm in Little River, South Carolina, and we barrel race. A lot of times it's really difficult for a barrel racer to, whenever they are consistently in the 2D, to get that half second off, because it's only a half second. I mean, but when you hear that coming from a barrel racer, half a second's a lot of time, but in the reality of it, it's not a lot of time. But people do anything to get that tenth, to get that eighth, to get that, you know, little bit off, and it's really made almost a half a second difference on his overall average time in every arena. It's not just one arena or two arenas, it's every arena that I've taken him to this year. He's done really, really well in. And the only thing I've done differently is take the shoes off. Everything else in my program has remained the same.
I would recommend Scott Spencer for all your barefoot trimming. He explains what he does. He explains why he does it, what you need to do, what to expect. He just really tries to make things work for you and your horse.
Any skeptic, I would tell them just to try it. Just try it out. You can always put the shoes back on your horse if you see that your horse is not benefiting from having those shoes on. I just can't imagine someone not seeing the big difference. I just think going this way is more like the way God intended. Horses aren't naturally born with shoes or have shoes on their feet, so, you know, it just makes sense. And everything that Scott ever told me and tried to explain to me made sense. So we pulled the shoes. It just works better. It seems to work better for my horses. I wouldn't have it any other way anymore. I would never put a shoe back on any one of my horses ever again.